Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is just afternoon. It is 5:50 p.m, so just on the edge there. And yeah, we are going to be casting game number 5, the semi-final of the ASUS ROG Summer Tournament. And it is Alicia, a red Protoss player, down the bottom left side. And we're actually going to get some stats from him because, yeah, these guys have been playing awesome. Yeah, Alicia. He is from South Korea. He's playing for the Axiom clan, and he has been doing all sorts of good stuff. And up the top left side of the map, it is a blue Terran player, TaeJa. He is also from South Korea, and he's playing for Team Liquid. And these guys have been doing an awesome job, man. I mean, TaeJa has been doing some awesome off-the-wall strategies, and Alicia has just been doing solid late game play. I cannot overemphasize how solid Alicia's play has been in the end game. I mean, Colossus and Storms, he just knows it. It's some of the most solid Colossus, Storm, ground army stuff I've ever seen. TaeJa, he gets the Ghosts, he gets the Vikings, he gets his Vikings stormed, all the Vikings die to Blink Stalkers, and Colossus kill everything else. And there's just nothing he can do about it. Absolutely nothing. He tries, he pushes, he can't make it work. Happy lost to that build 3 games to 1. TaeJa has lost 2 games so far to that build, and it's just, Alicia's just the master of that build, man. I feel like he is just the master of the PVT when the Terran player goes for triple M, man. He just the Terran just has no chance late game, and TaeJa has won 2 games so far by doing crazy shit. Doing just nutso shit. He went for a 6-minute medevac drop with Hellion and Widowmine support. That's 6-minute medevac full of Marines dropping off in the Protoss base. Alicia was still getting his tech up. He's just built a robotics, he's just about to build a Twilight Council. He's like, what, you're dropping me already? Come on, man. And yeah, he couldn't survive that. So he got taken out. 4th game, the other one TaeJa won. Double expanding at the 4-minute mark. Absolutely freaking insane. I never thought I'd see a Terran player double expand at the 4-minute mark, but that is exactly what he did. And my god, did it work. It didn't work overwhelmingly, but it gave him an edge. It gave him just this little bit of an edge. And around the 14-15 minute mark, actually around the 12-minute mark, he started making attacks, went in there, managed to take out the 3rd base of Alicia, which definitely knocked back Alicia quite a bit, and eventually just went in and just overwhelmed it, just bit by bit, constantly hammering at Alicia. And yeah, eventually just really good job from TaeJa there. And the fact that he had a Marauder heavy army was really good as well, because Alicia actually did have Storms out by that point, and the Storms were going everywhere, but the Marauders soaked up quite a lot of that, so really nice. Looks like TaeJa's going for some more standard stuff here. It does look like he's going to be a little bit behind Alicia in terms of the Nexus, but that's going to be fine. And I don't know. I do not know what's going to happen this game. I mean, it's what can possibly happen? I'm sure that TaeJa probably has another trick up his sleeve, at least one trick. But Alicia he's been tricked twice now. Is he going to fall for it the 3rd time? It depends on the trick, I guess. Or is Alicia going to go for something crazy by himself? Is he going to go for something a little bit nutso? I mean, we haven't really seen a game where he's gone for anything crazy. I mean, all of the games he's played so far, he's just gone for some pretty standard stuff. Like the first game when he got hit really hard, he went from mass stalkers after that, and that was, just a counter. He had to do that, but other than that, he's just been going for some pretty standard stuff. And I mean, if he gets his macro out, if he gets his 3rd base out, and just has a bit of room to breathe, he goes for the Storm, he goes for the Colossus, and he makes it work. So he's never really deviated from that too much. And I mean, versus Terran players, why would you? Because it works so well. It's just, I mean, when he can beat players like TaeJa, man, I mean, why change it? Just why bother? It's so awesome. And meanwhile, 4 Hellions Very interesting play, actually. 2 more coming out. The 6 Hellion push. And, oh, I do not know if he's going to be ready for this. He's got 2 Stalkers. They are back at the base. But 6 Hellions, man, they're running. Oh, they're running back into the main. The Nexus being overcharged here. Could knock out quite a lot of the Hellions, but the damage they would do to the probes would be quite severe. He's got the Observer out. The Observer's going to spot the Hellions coming in, but he's not going to have too much. And here we go. The medevac actually coming in, and they're going to head the Stalkers off. Really, really great player here. Overcharging the Nexus. The Hellions run straight past the overcharged Nexus, go straight for the main base. Excellent, excellent decision here. And there's SCVs, the worker's going to try and run, but they're going to get roasted so badly. The Stalker DPS is just not enough to really hit those Hellions. With the Marines backing them up, the Mothership Core goes down. Their Stalkers take out the Stalkers. He's taken out the Cyber Core, actually. But he's got to start taking out these Stalkers, and the Hellions are going to be free. The Hellions nearly down. The Stalker numbers are starting to get a little bit higher. And I feel like Alicia could almost threaten these Marine numbers. Not quite, but almost. There we go, another Stalker going down. They're chasing the Hellions. And the Marines doing well so far. But with these 2 Stalkers, I feel like Alicia might have the advantage once again. The dropship is going to go down. And that's going to be all she wrote. But how many workers were lost here? He's 13 down. And that is not a small number. But yeah, there we go. The Hellions finally going down. These Marines are getting a little bit owned here. And a couple of Zealots coming in. This guy is going to get wiped out. Oh, that was absolutely brutal, man. Absolutely brutal. Not fun at all for the Terran player. But he is ahead. He is now 17 workers ahead, or 15. So he's done a really good job. He's going to follow that up by a 3rd base. And he's going to lock that off. But yeah, that's going to be pretty awesome. And Alicia, man, he must feel like he's behind enough to where he needs to move in and do something, but that's going to be a bad choice because this is going to be bunkered up very, very nicely. The Stalker goes in, sees a Marauder, and it's like, yeah, screw that, I'm not going in there. The probe, did he see? No, he did not. He did not see the 3rd base coming down. So obviously just not at the right place at the right time, or at the right place at the wrong time, but whatever. Not going to be too well. Observer coming in, no missile turret, so he's going to get a free scout off, and these rocks are going to go down, and this Observer is going to be seeing this base. He's definitely going to be seeing it, and yes, this is going to be a nice big bullseye, although he doesn't really have, Alicia doesn't really have the forces right now to really go in for it. He's still taking up, man, and whoa, he's actually GGing there, man. He's obviously feels like he just does not have the economy that he needs. 53 versus 38. He was pulling back, and the Observer came in, saw all these forces, saw 2 tanks, saw a 3rd base, and he's like, you know what? I don't think I can deal with this, man. It's just too much. I'm done. And there he's giving the peaceful surrender for this 5th and very last game of the semi-final series. So, good job to him. And yeah, really, really nice job to TaeJa there. I mean, a lot of the pro games I see Hellions going in. Most of the time versus Zerg, because Zerg are in the vast majority of my games, I feel like sometimes. And the Hellions, man, they never seem to do that much. But we saw a great use of the Hellions here, man. 6 Hellions plus the drop. And this early drop seems to be something that TaeJa is starting to use a lot more. The very early medevac, full of Marines getting down there, occasionally with a Widow Mine, and he's just doing such a good job with it, and it was the perfect counterpart to having the Hellions in there. The Hellions did so much damage when the Stalkers started coming out, boom, Marines take care of them, and he lost about 12 or 13 workers to that attack, and TaeJa also lost 6 Hellions. So I suppose they lost an even amount, sort of, maybe. But then again, those Marines cost a lot. They killed a lot more Stalkers than they actually cost. So maybe counting the medevac being killed, I don't know. I feel like TaeJa may still come out, but the fact is he killed workers, and Alicia just killed Marines and Hellions. So yeah, definitely an awesome job there from TaeJa. And he is heading off to the grand final, man. Once again, TaeJa in the grand final. Alicia showing extremely solid play in the late game, but ultimately, just when TaeJa went sideways, man, he could not go sideways himself. He was, he plays standard. He's a very standard player, it seems like. He doesn't really go off the wall as much as I can see. He always gets what he likes to get, and what he likes to get is the Templar Archives, is the Colossus, and he just builds up and he gets them, and then he just goes out and just whoosh. So when TaeJa starts doing some crazy stuff, he doesn't react extremely well. I mean, he reacts, he holds it off, but yeah, eventually he will switch back to the Templar Archives or the Colossus. He always goes for those. He always makes those as his eventual goal, no matter what TaeJa does. Which I suppose is still okay, but yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, TaeJa's won all these games, so there's something to be said. When your opponent goes crazy, you have to sort of go crazy a little bit to hold him off. And yep, well, TaeJa making it work in the very last ace match, the last ace match of this series. And yeah, moving on to the grand final. So he will be facing up against either Stardust or actually no. What am I saying? What am I saying? Stardust got knocked out by Hyun. What am I saying? It'll be either Hyun or San. I get confused. Stardust made it into the semi-finals of the last tournament. This tournament, he got knocked out in the quarters, which I'm still very sad about. But San and Hyun, so is going to be a PVZ coming up in the second semi-finals. And yeah, San, another player I've never seen in previous tournaments, but I mean, he beat Don Regu, and I mean, that says he's awesome at PVZ. So going up against Hyun, we will see how awesome he does at that. But anyway, congratulations to TaeJa. Terran in the grand finals is always good. And man, if San wins, it's going to be a PVT in the grand finals, and that's going to be freaking sweet. I love PVT. I don't think I've ever seen one in the grand finals of a tournament yet. It's always it's always Zerg and something else. But yeah, PVT, man, it's going to be awesome. But of course, Hyun, another one of those players who loves getting into the grand finals, man. He's so good at getting into the grand finals. So yeah, I don't know if San can do it. But me personally, I'm going to be rooting for San. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching this tournament, and we'll be catching up with the semi-finals, the second semi-final, Hyun versus San, Protoss versus Zerg. It's going to be awesome, and then of course the grand finals. So we'll catch you guys then. This has been Hairy Muppet. Hope you enjoyed this game.